Good morning, my beautiful people. It is good to see each and every one of you jumping in the chat room so quick. Of course, this morning we're going to be going over some of the live footage from the Portland, Oregon protest. Some people say it's a riot. I say it's a furry riot. Right now, it seems like it's a block party with a bunch of people wearing costumes. And already I seen somebody in the chat said, Dolly, are you still covering missing kids? Where's the baby? Of course, I'm still covering missing kids. There's just not really much going on in the missing kid front, other than there was some updates in Jack and Lily, and I'll probably bring those later this afternoon. But shocker, they didn't find anything, okay? Long story short, they didn't find anything. So while there's nothing going on, we're covering other U.S. events, okay? Other things that are going on in our country. Trust me, if you're a true crime fan, you're going to get plenty of true crime here. Some of these protests, and I believe that these protests fall under true crime. Anytime there is anarchy in our country, even if it's from furries or cosplay characters, it is still crime. And we're going to be going over some of the latest news. Of course, live footage from what's going on from the ICE facility. But first, of course, I'm going to need your DNA on that like button this morning. Okay, there's only 200 of you here up at 6:30 a.m. on the East Coast. It is 3:30 on the West Coast. Well, not quite 3:30. It is actually 6:22. So it'd be 3:22 in Portland right now. And there's still people out there. It's been a lot of these people, like I said, wearing costumes. More arrests have been made. Now, we heard that lady come in and say, hey, listen, if you can't control the streets, we're going to send in 4 times the police. Now, Portland, of course, has ramped up the police in that area, trying to control the situation because, of course, they don't want the federal government coming in and controlling their streets because then they look like they can't control it. And then when elections come, people may vote them out, and we may see a changing of the guard finally over here on the West Coast where it's been so lawlessness, okay? Because you don't see the rest of the country acting like this. There's little spots, there's little hot spots, but for the most part, the country is pretty unified behind getting rid of unlawful people who are out here destroying and breaking the law, okay? Now, that ain't my opinion. I don't care what people do. You can tear up everything you want. I'm playing. Don't do it. Don't do it. I'm just joking. But I think, like I said, the majority of people want this lawlessness to stop. And our president right now that's in office, Donald Trump, he is doing his best to try to stop these things. Some people say he's trying to militarize our cities. And that's not the case because he's not threatening to do this in any other states other than these states that have a lot of these crazy protests or that protests that turn into riots. Okay, that's the fear right now. It I would say it's pretty much a peaceful protest other than the fights. Now, people will say, Dolly, well, how can it be peaceful if there's fights? Well, this is counter protesters and protesters fighting, really. So it kind of evens itself out a little bit. There's some instigators out there on both sides of the fence. So I believe the problem is with crazy people and not so much with what's going down. Now, does this have the possibility of turning into a riot? Yes, because I believe this weekend, right, tonight, it's going to get even worse and more worse because more people are free on the weekend. And then they show up out here. And then, of course, more counter protesters are free on the weekends. And now we got people out here fighting. And listen, both sides are making it hard for ICE and the police to do their jobs. Definitely both sides, right? Now, listen, everybody has the right to be out there. Freedom of speech is a real thing. I want to be able to see all these people get out here and say whatever they want, have their voice heard. But it's the point is, should it be? Just because you can do something don't mean that you got to. Now, I believe if there wasn't counter protesters out here, these people would have done pipe down. They would have done went home. Really, there's only two things that need to be done to stop this whole protest from happening. They need to issue a curfew, right? So they don't disturb the neighbors, and they need a buffer zone. Going to be 60 today, though. All right, well, it may be a little chilly out there, but let's jump into the latest news on what's going on out there, and then we will jump into the live footage so you can see for yourself, okay? So let me share this video with you guys.
We've increased our enforcement. Last night we did more down there, made 4 arrests, I believe. So we have more officers in the area.
Today, Portland Police Chief Bob Day confirmed his commitment to increasing the police presence around the city's ICE facility following that high-profile visit from Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem. Good evening, and thanks for joining us on the 10 o'clock news. I'm Pete Ferryman. Increased patrols outside the building were one of the demands made by Secretary Noem to help keep federal officers safe. Fox 12's Michaela Armstrong joins us now live from the ICE facility in South Portland on how some people out there are reacting to news of this change. Michaela?
Yeah, Pete, the crowd across the ICE facility is growing, but the crowd right in front of the ICE facility, there's a noticeable difference in what we're seeing right now. Over the past few days, we've seen a few dozen people right in front of the ICE facility. As you can see, there is less than that tonight. We did see an arrest here about an hour ago by Portland police, and some tell me their increased presence is a part of the changes happening in the area. More police presence has changed the dynamics near the ICE facility rapidly, shrinking the crowd and stopping some of the conflict.
I think it has affected the protests here. If it took the Portland police to do that, that's a good thing.
It's because last night wasn't that rowdy. It was pretty calm. So I think they're definitely doing something better. Their increased presence is helping out a lot, you know.
Fox 12 spoke with Chief Bob Day about the changes, and he confirmed more patrolling officers are in the area. And one liaison officer says they all work together to figure out who is needed where.
There's not a real need for the police presence all the time. It's if something's going on, then
Well, if you're turning a situation like this into a big joke, right, that shows you the people out there protesting, they're not serious about it. They're not serious about change if they're out there wearing costumes and dancing around in the street. That don't create change. That, to me, it's just straight silliness, right? And these people should be ran off, and there should be some curfew placed so people in that neighborhood can get some rest. This ain't a block party, right? I mean, that's what they're basically trying to turn this into, is a big old block party.
sort of increase, and we'll scale it back and forth with what's going on over here.
He says clashes between protesters and counter-protesters have been a large focus.
If there's people yelling and arguing, a lot of times we'll go in first. We'll try to talk to people, like let them know disagreements are fine. Just we don't need to fight about it. Then other times you will have them start getting a little more heated. There'll be some then the other team will start coming in.
But the increased police presence isn't for everyone.
Confusing, frustrating.
Yeah, of course, this dude don't like the police. Look at him. Okay, look at this dude. Of course, this guy ain't gonna like the police. All right, this dude ain't gonna like anybody. This dude right here, I could say a lot about. Okay, I could say a lot about. But of course, he don't like the police there because he can't get out there and shake his tail feathers.
It's kind of, odd to see.
One protester says it has changed the area for protesters.
We're seeing that it of course is not equitable with who is being arrested and who is being charged. And it's safety, seeing people speed right past.
That little guy would not make it a day in jail, okay? He would not make it. He don't want it. That's why he sees some police. He's like, I ain't going to jail. You know what I'm saying? I mean, right off the bat, you go to jail, you're going to be somebody's girlfriend. Okay. I mean, right off the bat.
right past the cops very quickly, almost knocking people over, and they do nothing. It doesn't bring safety. It doesn't bring safety to the space as much.
If a good wind would blow you over, you probably shouldn't be out there. Okay. If a good wind can come by and just swoop your ass away, you probably shouldn't be out there. Did Tommy get out? I didn't know he was in jail. I know he had court. He was told to stay 200 yards away from the ICE facility. He would love jail, says Razor. He would love jail. Not always. Dolly, they only been silly since Christy Nome was there. It's been bad. I watch every night. Well, yeah, there's been some arrests last night, and we're going to get into that, some of the action from tonight and earlier tonight in just a few minutes. I just wanted to go over what, the news has been saying about the change in the protests. Dolly, he would fit right in. I don't know. It ain't always, pleasant when you get locked up. Just because, you may be somebody's girlfriend, that don't mean it's going to be an easy ride for you. You know what I'm saying? People still will attack you, beat on you, and bad things in jail.
Just maybe it should be, or ideally it should be in some way, but it just doesn't.
While a counter protester says these changes are for the better, like the removal of a campsite that was there for months and more arrests happening by police near the facility.
Getting pretty nasty, right? And I think they just needed to clean it up, and that's what they did. I think it did change for sure, yeah.
Chief Day says he is continuing to find a solution for down here and figure out if there are any alternatives. But as of right now, there are more officers in the area. In South Portland, Michaela Armstrong, Fox 12 Oregon.
Okay.
During Secretary Nome's visit to Portland, she also asked Mayor Keith Wilson if the city would take over ICE's lease on the South Waterfront.
Oh, man. Black Wolf says yes. They arrested Tommy last night by judge's order. Okay. Now, listen. They ain't got no problem with everybody else dressing in costumes, acting a fool. Let me blow my screen up for this one. I got to get real with you guys for a minute. Now, to what they just put in an order to lock him up. Tommy and Tommy 2.0 both got arrested by Portland. See, listen, they're against the people that are for Trump. Okay. We can see that. All these other instigators that are out there, they don't seem to be going to jail. Only the people that are instigating on the right are going to jail. The people instigating on the left don't seem to be. Now, listen, I ain't going to act like Tommy's completely innocent in this because we would all be lying to ourselves. Does Tommy have the right to do what he's doing in this country? Yes, he does 100%. And I stand behind him on that. Now, is it a good decision? Probably not. Okay. But he has every right to do what he wants to do out there, to be out there just as much right as any of these idiots that are out there, right? If not more, because at least he's American, okay? At least he's American. And here's the thing. If somebody puts their hands on you in this country, you have the right to defend yourself. And Tommy, all he's done is defend himself, okay? He's out there screaming his beliefs that don't align with their beliefs. They're screaming their beliefs that don't align with his beliefs. He is not physically putting his hands on anybody that hasn't put their hands on him. So these courts that are arresting people like this, if you're going to arrest Tommy, go out there and arrest everybody. Okay? Arrest everybody you don't agree with. And it would be all people on the right. It wouldn't be none of the left because you agree with what these anarchists, these strange people, I'm trying to be nice, strange, right? Or these people that are making the situation a big joke. People out there in costumes dancing in the street. Listen, if you want to dance in the street, go dance in the street somewhere other than in front of the ICE building. You're making it hard for these police officers to do their job. We have nightclubs. We have all these things. Tommy defended himself against attacks. He didn't instigate. Is that what that says? I can't see. I got my glasses on. Listen, when you get out there and you don't de-escalate, okay? We talked about this days ago. De-escalation. When somebody says something to you, you know, and you don't agree with it, you don't sit there and keep fighting with them, calling them names. And because listen, if you do that, let's be honest. If you get in my face and you start calling me names, these days I would probably walk away from you. But everybody don't do that, right? Most people don't. You get in front of a grown man's face and you start calling him names, and he'll call you a name, then you'll call, it's going to end up in a fight. Okay. If you don't, everybody, oh, okay. Okay. I see what you said, Paula. But most people know if you get in somebody's face like that, let me finish what I'm saying. Okay, you were screaming at one guy and they ended up smoking together. Yeah, it happens, right? Listen, you got to be the bigger person to walk away, right? But sometimes when you do these things, fights break out. You know, when you start running your mouth at somebody or calling them names, some people are going to fight you. It's just as simple as that. Like me, you know, I have a certain switch that once that switch hits, it's go time. And I don't care about the police. I don't care about the damn National. I don't care about nothing. I don't care about going to jail. I don't care. Once you hit that switch, that it's go time switch, it's go time. I don't care who you are. And I ain't even that big of a guy. I'm probably about 190, 5'7", but I ain't no punk. So you ain't going to get up in my face and say something to me. And I'm one of these people, you ain't even got to put your hands on me. You say the right thing, and it might be on and popping, right? That's why I had to chill out and back it up a little bit and realize, hey, I'm getting older. I ain't the tough guy that I used to be, right? And now I practice the art of de-escalation. Hey, man, run your mouth over there. I don't care what you say, right? You ain't important enough for me to go to jail over. That's what I got to, that's how I weigh out life, right? When people are acting crazy, I ask myself now, is this worth going to jail over? And if the answer is yes, then it may be bad. Okay. But if the answer is no, then I'm walking my ass away. I'm getting away from the situation, cooling down, because calm heads prevail, right? But anyway, I just wanted to touch on that. Tommy Boy breached court order by 1.5 feet. He wasn't supposed to be within 200 feet of ICE. Judgment of error. Okay, so he was too close to the ICE facility by 1.5 feet. I feel bad for Tommy, but damn, man. Damn, Tommy. Damn. I mean, I actually, he has a little bit of a mouth, right? But I like Tommy. I do. I like Tommy. Listen, we need more people that stand up for our country, right? That's proud to be American. What is so wrong these days with being a proud American? If you're a proud American and you in my chat room right now, or you're watching this channel, do me a favor, hit that like button for another proud American, okay? Because I'm definitely a proud American. I still believe in pledge allegiance to the flag. I still put my hand over my heart for the national anthem. I still respect the flag. PNW Life, thank you for being a sub. I mean, that is important in this day and age. And they're taking America out of everything, just like they're taking God out of everything. And this is what our country was built on. Good Christian values, right? They're trying to destroy the Christian values. They want everybody to be crazy, and everybody's not. Times are changing quickly, and they want to force their beliefs on us. Listen, now me, I am a Christian male, but I don't force my Christian beliefs on people. I don't care what your thoughts are, as long as you act like a decent human being, right? There should be a handbook that you're given at birth. how to be a decent human being. That's it, right? You don't got to be great. You ain't got to be perfect. Just a decent human being. All right, let's jump back into this.
Mayor Wilson said he is considering it.
Noted that their mission at ICE and our mission as a city, we're not matching. There's a miss on that. So we explained to them that that location might be not good for what their mission is. It certainly isn't helping our.
We don't need people showing up to defend ICE. Okay, I see people saying that. Granny T. Let me blow myself back up. ICE has weapons, pepper ball guns. There's plenty of them. There's more ICE members than there are protesters, and we do not need people out there defending ICE. Okay, that's silly. That's almost as silly as they're trying to militarize our cities. Okay, but just on the right side. You just said something silly. Now, I ain't mad at you for saying something silly. Sometimes I say stupid shit too. Okay, but that falls definitely under the stupid category. Okay, you just said something silly. The police can defend themselves. Okay, we don't need citizens out there defending the police at the ICE facility. It's causing more chaos. It's causing more fights. Do they have the right to be out there, Grammy? Absolutely. Absolutely, they have the right to be out there. But having the right to do something and is it the right thing to do are absolutely two different things. The police can defend themselves, right? You don't need to be involved in that. People don't need to be involved in that. Let the police, let ICE do their job, right? And ICE can handle themselves. You see, they walk out there and push everybody around and go back and let the vehicles out. So they don't really need nobody's help. That to me is just silly. It's that mindset right there. It's a mindset. And listen, people on the left are saying crazy things. People on the right are saying crazy things. But the truth is this: the police can handle this. If you make the situation worse, they are not peaceful protesters. Grammy T. They're out there in damn Pokemon outfits. Okay. I mean, there is violence out there. I don't want to take away from that, Grammy. Absolutely. I'm not laughing at you. I'm just laughing in general. I get what you're saying. There needs to be more people that stand up for ICE. That's true. You're absolutely true there. They don't need to be out there. Okay. They don't need to be out there protecting the police, right? The police need to be protecting us. But you're right. It needs to be more people that stand up for our men in blue, our ICE agents, our police officers and all that. You're absolutely right. But they do not need to be out there standing up for them. And there is violence out there, but I wouldn't say, even in my title, is probably wrong. Portland, Oregon riots. There's really no riots. There's no riots. All right. So I could have put protest up there, but riot just has a better ring to it, right? But there's no riot. It doesn't have the capability of becoming a riot. Absolutely. Especially tonight and tomorrow. We're probably going to see the worst 2 nights of this would be tonight and tomorrow night. The week is pretty calm, but all these knuckleheads, they ain't got work tomorrow. They're going to be out there in full force. And like I said, we got people thinking they need to get out there and defend the police. Then we have these confrontations, and these confrontations are where we're seeing these fights. If there wasn't confrontations, there wouldn't be no fights. Okay? There wouldn't be, because there wouldn't be nobody to fight. The left ain't going to fight the left, right? That just ain't going to happen. They're going to get out there and dress as unicorns and dance together. Okay? That's what they're going to do. If the right wasn't out there, we wouldn't have this conflict that we're having. It's because both parties are showing up out there. They are paid protesters. Well, a lot of people believe that. And we heard Trump in his roundtable say he's going to go after some of these people that are paying these protesters. Now, I truly believe if you are a paid protester in this country, your ass should go to jail. And I think most of us would agree. Let's take a little vote. There's 430 of you in here. If you believe that a paid protester should be arrested and the person that paid them should be arrested, I want you guys to like this video and press 1 in the chat, okay? Hey, producer.
I got cursed with the buttery pajamas.
Okay.
I just woke back up.
Oh, you fell back asleep?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I found that bin with all your shorts.
Okay, thank you. All right, so I was asking the people if they think protesters who are paid and the people that paid them should be in jail. What do you think, producer?
What's the purpose in doing that?
They pay people to be unruly. I don't know what their reasoning is, but they do. I mean, it's alleged anyway. I've never got a check, but I'm saying I have heard people out there say they're being paid to be out there from different organizations. Well, I think politicians are giving money to these groups, certain groups, and then those groups are paying people to be out there. But there's major politicians and major political figures that are paying this money that are going to these groups. They're funneling money into these groups, and these groups are paying these protesters. Some of them, allegedly.
I was going to say, because how do you know?
Well, I mean, it's just the way it is. They were busing protesters in. Where did protesters get a damn bus?
Oh, yeah. Like,
you know what I'm saying? If you're busing protesters in, where the hell, who's paying for the bus? Who's organizing it? To me, that's when it becomes organized crime, because somebody is there's an organization behind what is happening here in our country, and it's basically just anti-government anarchy.
Yeah, like that one time when there's like that pile of bricks or something, and like but that was like conspiracy.
Well, I mean, yeah, there you go. Why are there people out there being bussed in? Why are they bringing in piles of bricks, right? There was people literally in the last protest out there with hammers chipping off pieces of the curb and throwing bricks of the curb. Yes. Yeah, it's craziness. And listen, we can't have our officers in situations where they're getting hurt. You know, these people are family people too. They have, you know, wives and kids, and they need to make it home just like the next person that shows up to punch the clock.
And then people always say that like they're out to get us or whatever, but they're just, most of them are people just like all of us.
I know. And that's what I tell people when they're like, you know, they want to militarize the cities. Well, you know, the military is U.S. citizens. They're us.
Right.
Right. Are we out to get ourselves? No, we're out to protect ourselves.
Has military family members.
And that's what I'm saying. Most of these people out there that are protesting, they probably have family members that are in the military, and they're still doing this disrespecting the country when their family members are out fighting for our freedoms and possibly could die in places like Afghanistan and Iraq and all these places. And then they just turn around and they basically just take a big dump on our country, which is horrible. Right? Like, listen, we got to have some American pride in our country. We got to appreciate it. And if you don't, you need to leave. Right? I mean, you need to leave. If you don't want to be here, it's easy to get out. Right?
You don't need to watch like Coming to America.
Well, no, it's kind of hard to leave. You got to have a passport, all kinds of stuff to leave. It's easy to get in the country. It's like a roach hotel. You can check in, but you can't check out. Right? It's hard to get out of here. I give them that. They'd be like, well, Dolly, I would leave, but I can't. I'd be like, well, welcome to the club. I ain't got a passport either. I'm pretty much stuck here too. Unless I build a boat, a damn Noah's Ark, and we can all, you know, load up all these non-Americans and y'all can float y'all's ass somewhere else, right?
My favorite
to an island.
When the celebrities and people that get mad at the politics or whatever and want to leave and then they never leave.
Yes. How many people say Trump, if Trump's elected, I'm moving to Canada, and then Trump gets elected, nobody ever moves. They stay in the Hollywood Hills. They're like, okay, we're just going to live it up. You know what I'm saying? They always make that threat. Oh, if this is this. And listen, I think if you're a movie star or a musician, you should focus on that and not what you know. Every time you get a hit song, you want to change the fucking world. You know what I'm saying? You only got one hit song. Wait till you Michael Jackson status or something and try to change the world. You can't. You know, you got your Taylor Swifts, and it's just, to me, it's and these young people worship some of these artists, and then they act a fool because their favorite artist said, oh, this is what we should do. Beyonce and Jay-Z, right? Oh my God. If that's who you getting your advice from, some dude that hangs out at P. Diddy parties and they allegedly like kids, you know, that I don't know what to say about society, right? I mean, that's what it's come to is your Kanye West and your damn Jay-Z's. That is their Jesus, you know what I'm saying? Taylor Swift. It blows my mind, right? It just blows my mind. And I think society's like, a lot of these kids are so frail and like they need a suntan. I don't know. Can you get some sun poison, something going on here? Like they're just too soft, too crybaby-ish.
The school systems turned the kids into a bunch of social justice warriors.
And the frogs. You know what they said about the frogs? I ain't going to say it, but you know what I'm saying?
Oh,
you know what they done to the frogs.
I got to go get you some tinfoil.
That's why we see the frogs out there. These people dressed as frogs because we know what they did to the frogs. We ain't going to say nothing. Don't say it in the chat. If you don't know what they did to the frogs.
Some people are going to think you're being serious. Stop it.
I think I am. Okay. I think I am. We know what they did to our frogs. Them frogs won't like that before. Okay. We all know that. All right. That ain't no conspiracy. It's straight up. We know what they turned the frogs into. They feel nice. Okay. So back to the news now that we know. Everybody know. Don't say it in the chat room. If you don't know, you just going to have to figure it out. Go find the frog. Go to a pond and ask the frog, hey, little froggy, have you seen any changes, right? Have you seen any changes in your pond?
You got a girlfriend?
Right? Do you got a girlfriend, little froggy? Ask them that, and then the rest, leave our frogs alone, okay? Leave our frog. Get out, stay away from the ice building, and stay away from the ponds, okay? Stay away. We already see now a little froggy is out there, and he done got pepper sprayed in the air hole, okay? Leave the little frogs' air holes alone, okay? Leave the little frogs' air holes alone. Don't pick on the frogs, okay? All right, let's jump back into the news. Ready?
City or our mission.
And Wilson even suggested that Nome relocate ICE out of Multnomah County. While the lease arrangement is not a done deal, it is a conversation that the mayor is having with the city council. A federal ruling could come any time now that could either block or pave the way for Oregon National Guard troops to deploy in Portland. Today's emergency hearing in the 9th U.S. Circuit Court of Appeals centered around the temporary restraining order keeping the Oregon Guard out of the city and whether to overturn it. 2 of the 3 judges on the appellate panel seemed skeptical of the TRO granted last week by Judge Karen Emmergut of the U.S. District Court in Oregon. Judges Ryan Nelson and Bridget Bade were each appointed by President Trump during his first administration. And they had tough questions for Stacey Chaffin, the attorney representing Portland and Oregon. When pressed by Judge Nelson about reports of violence amid protests, Chaffin pointed to prosecutions as evidence that sending the Guard is not necessary, while Eric MacArthur, the attorney for the federal government, presented...
Cynthia said, hey, those frogs identify as fish. Y'all got jokes. I think it's too early for jokes. Okay, I think it's too early. That was good, though. That was good.
A very different analysis.
The situations that we're talking about, even the situations where it unfortunately could include an assault on a federal officer, that's a crime. That's a crime that was handled. They were arrested, and I understand that the U.S. Attorney's Office had 22, they're prosecuting 22 defendants. That's how this process is supposed to work.
This is hardly the peaceful and sedate crowd that plaintiffs tried to make it out to be. These are violent people.
Pam, yes, if you Google it, it will tell you what is going on with the frogs. Okay, try Googling it. Try it, all right?
And if at any point we let down our guard, there is a serious risk of ongoing violence. And at some point,
now I want to search
the president is entitled, when his subordinates are telling him, we are overstretched, this is unsustainable, the officers aren't available to do their jobs.
The panel took the case under advisement and will issue a ruling in the coming days. This hearing only focused, again, on the Oregon National Guard and not the TRO that was issued over the weekend to keep National Guard troops from other states out of Portland. It's still unclear how a ruling in this case might affect the other order. Now, the question now is, what happens if the appellate court strikes down that TRO, the restraining order? Fox 12's Anna Katayama spoke with a political science professor at Portland State University and has more on what we might expect next. Anna?
It's like all over social media, and I think everybody, especially the people who live in this downtown area, it's kind of all we can think about because we know that it will be affecting our day-to-day lives.
Music student Ethan Purse is worried about changes possibly coming to his city. Word that the 9th U.S. Circuit Court of Appeals might not stand behind the temporary restraining order keeping the Oregon National Guard out of Portland has him concerned.
I think it is a militarization of the city against its own people.
Political science professor Chris Shortell watched a portion of the Thursday hearing. He says that if the appeals court decides against the Oregon judge's temporary restraining order, Oregon has a couple of options.
The smart move by Oregon would probably be to make an en banc appeal in hopes that they will get a better breakdown of judges.
An en banc appeal would have a larger panel of judges from the 9th Circuit Court review the decision made by the initial 3-judge panel. If that doesn't go Oregon's way, then the next step would be the Supreme Court.
We can have a fairly high record of accuracy if we predict an outcome that's consistent with what the president wants. What we're seeing is a lot of lower courts that are continuing to operate as they had been operating before, following the same procedures, and I think that by and large has been true in the appeals courts as well. However, the Supreme Court has started changing precedent and changing procedure often without any explanation. If we look at what the Supreme Court has done, particularly on their emergency docket, since President Trump has come back into office, they have been very deferential to what the president wants.
Not what Ethan wants to hear, but he is hopeful.
I have heard from the general of the Oregon National Guard that if they do come here, they do plan on protecting Oregonians from ICE agents.
So this appeal can be heard en banc if a majority of the court's judges.
Oregonians? Is that what he just said? Oregonians? That National Guard are going to protect the citizens from ICE agents? I'm sorry, kid. I think you're misinformed.
Judges vote to do so. Meantime, we do want to show you what that PSU student referred to at the end of the story and offer some clarification. A video from more than a week ago is going viral right now on social media, showing the commander of the Oregon National Guard addressing a committee at the state capitol. Take a look.
And I will provide my advice to the Title X commander that Oregon National Guard men and women they serve two purposes: one, to defend America, and two, to protect Oregonians. And so by serving in this mission, they will be protecting any protesters at the ICE facility.
Now, it's important to point out that this time.
Now, they ain't saying they are going to protect them against ICE. They're saying they're going to protect them. That means from each other, not from ICE. I think the young man was a little misinformed. You think that the National Guard is going to be out there messing with ICE? That dude right there, that is the leader of the National Guard, he wouldn't even have a job the next day.
Testimony took place 2 days after President Trump called for the National Guard deployment to Portland. And so that means at the time of the general's comments, the Oregon Guard was under federal command. Because of that, the general that you just heard from cannot personally order the Guard members to protect protesters. He can only offer advice to the federal commander. In studio, Anna Katayama, Fox 12 Oregon.
Anna, thank you. Meanwhile, a federal judge in Illinois has partially granted a temporary restraining order that halts President Trump's deployment of National Guard troops there. Judge April Perry ruled the deployment violates the 10th and 4th Amendments. The Trump administration says the Guard is needed to assist federal immigration agents amid violent clashes at protests in Chicago. The temporary restraining order is scheduled to expire in 14 days. Stay with us for continuing coverage.
I mean, here's the thing. If Trump really wants to bring in the National Guard, all he has to do is make an executive order. He's just trying to go through the legal system to do it without having to forcefully do it. Okay. But if he wants to send in people, he's the president of the United States. He can send in whoever he wants to send in. All right. Now, with that, that's the latest news on everything that's going on. So now let's take a little look at what it looked like out there last night. Claudia, 3-year membership, Dolly Vision.
Party face emoji. Thank you, Dolly.
She's the only one that threw $2 in on my breakfast this morning. Right? It looks like, Claudia, I'm going to be eating Pop-Tarts. Okay. Nobody wants to feed Dolly this morning, but thank you. Welcome to the Blessed Express. Claudia is the first one on it this morning. Okay. The whole train is empty. Get you a nice seat, window. Dolly got to eat, but it looks like I ain't going to be eating much. All right. And when I get all skinny and crackhead looking, just remember, you could have stopped that. Okay. I'm going to be looking like Antifa soon. All right. Y'all want me all skinny dressed? I wear a lot of black. Y'all want me all skinny dressed in black? Right. Then people are going to mistake me for being part of a terrorist organization. And y'all could have avoided that just by jumping on a Dolly train and feeding Dolly, the Blessed Express. Okay. We're gassing it up. We're barely moving down the tracks.
Here is for a coffee.
Thank you, Zen. James, thank you for getting on the train with us. See, James ready to feed me. He know I won't look good skinny, right? He's like, Dolly probably look terrible skinny. And Zen's like, yeah, I remember when you was all skinny crackhead looking. And everybody was saying you was on drugs, okay? Remember those days, Zen? Remember that? He's on drugs. Look how skinny he is, right? Now I got a little chunk to me, a little chunk, and I ain't trying to lose it. I'm trying to protect my chunk like the ICE facility, okay? I'm going to get National Guards to protect my belly. Lady for Justice, been a member for 11 months. Sudali and Mods, PJ, big shout out to PJ. Okay, she's in there getting ready for work. Pam Bell says she's feeding me. Right there, like, Dolly got to eat. We got to let this man eat some breakfast this morning. You know how I like my scrambled cheese, eggs, and some grits. That's usually what I do in the morning. Some cheese eggs and some cheese grits. And a little bit of orange juice. That keeps me fueled for the day, right? I usually only eat twice a day. I'll eat in the morning and then I'll eat at night.